Patriarchal and Hebrew History. 21. From David's complete establishment to the close of Ansalom's revolt. Did I say salam at some point on a recent video, but didn't instead of salmon? Okay, Samuel 9 through 18. AM 2964 to 2982. BCE 140 to 1040 to 1022. David remembers his covenant with Jonathan and shows kindness to the son of his friend. 2 Samuel 9. A kindly embassy to the king of Ammon is received with suspicion and sent back with personal insult. 10:1-4. David's indignation and the terrible punishment visited upon the Ammonites and their allies. Verse 5-19. David falls into flagrant sin and attempts to conceal it by another, if possible, greater. The murder of Urijah, chapter 11. The prophet Nathan's parable and the divine rebuke and terrible judgment. 12:1-14. Death of David's child and the conduct of the king. Verse 5-23. Birth of Solomon. Conquest of Ammon. Verse 24-31. Remember the adultery and action to get Uriah killed was not part of the earlier versions of this telling. So before the Bible, you had it written of differently. So birth of Solomon, conquest of Ammon, 24-31. Amnon, David's oldest son, guilty of a great crime. The anger of the king, the revenge of Absalom and his exile, 13:20-39. Wait, revenge was this the one where he raped his father's wives? Joab's stratagem to bring about the return of Absalom and his success. 14:1-24. Absalom's personal appearance, his family, his restoration to the king's favor. 29-33. The verses. He plots against the government and cultivates the arts of popularity, rebellion and insurrection. 15:1-13. Flight of David with his family and his bodyguard. 14-23. The king sends back the ark which had been taken along in flight. He also sends his friend Hushai to Absalom to act secretly in the king's interest and to counteract other counselors. 24-37. Device of Ziba, who traduces Mephibosheth and obtains a reward. Chapter 16:1-4. Continued flight. Indignity offered to the king by one of the family of Saul. David's forbearance. 5-13. Absalom enters Jerusalem, takes counsel of Ahithophel and Hushai. 15-23, and 17:1-13. Shrewd and successful device of the latter Word sent to David concerning Absalom's plans, 14 through 21. The two armies, supplies for the king's troops, 24 through 29. The battle, David's tenderness for Absalom, defeat of the insurgents, 18, verse 1 through 8. Absalom's death and burial, 9 through 19. The news carried to David, 20 through 32. His intense sorrow and pathetic utterances concerning his son, verse 33. By pathetic, maybe emotional, or I don't remember what was meant. And if I was writing this account, I would have the death and burial. I would have included the funeral prayer. So we'll see if that's part of that, because I don't remember.